Hey guys, welcome to the Canada Puck Podcast, your weekly recap of what's going on in the world of sports, specifically in hockey, and even more specifically in Canada. Oh, just like the name implies. I'm your co-host, Mick. You can find me on Twitter at ProfitMick, and I'm joined every episode by my lovely and talented co-host,
Grant on Twitter at Worthline Sports. I was waiting for it. There was that dramatic pause there that I think everybody was entertained by. All we need now is fireworks. Maybe like a raucous crowd in the background, and we're WWE superstars.
We did it. It's that easy, actually.
Literally. Can you fall on your back? Perfect.
Yeah.
You kind of, falling on your back's a hard thing to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sometimes if you have enough drinks in you and you're out in like a grassy area, I practice it. Just it's a skill, you know? Like, it's hard.
I remember as a little guy, I was like, I'm going to be a wrestler. I hope every kid goes through a phase where they're like, I'm going to be a wrestler. It's like, wrestlers have to have hard heads. So I remember old little Grant running head first into things. It's like, I'm going to make it. I didn't make it, but, on my way maybe.
Yeah, but, those brain cells, you need them anyways, so.
Yeah. I got two good ones in there. I got all I need.
Oh, yeah. Nice. So if this is your first episode, welcome. We're going to recap what was going on the last couple weeks leading up to the postseason here. Headlines, all the Canadian teams, some gambling advice, fantasy advice, maybe a game. I don't have a game today, so maybe we'll just give Grant some cards. Sounds like a fun thing to do.
I don't deserve cards. The way that this season has gone for me, particularly the last half, I don't deserve cards. I'm not earning them in fun games. I'm not earning them in Bettor Advice. I'm not earning them in my dirty fantasy. Maybe we'll open a box of cards for you. Maybe this is just something that you get to rub in my face.
All right.
Because
I got some.
This is the punishment that I deserve.
We'll see. Maybe I'll open one of these packs of cards at the end of the show.
Ooh. Oh, what's the green one? Are those O-Pee-Chee?
Yeah, these are O-Pee-Chee ones. I didn't like them because I have some from last year that I bought because they were like $1 a pack kind of thing. I saw them. And the new ones, I kind of like them. I got this cool Connor McDavid one. And they're cool, and they kind of feel old school, and they've got this brown back, they're actually made of cardboard or something.
You know what? Every time we do this, I convince myself I got to go buy more cards of some variety. So maybe that'll be my morning after recording trip. But I should let you know, there's actually a vintage card auction. Maybe not exclusively vintage, but there's a whole bunch of unopened packs. I'm going to have to send you the link after, because last I checked, I think some of the boxes and packages were still only $2. So
Cool. Sweet. Yeah, that's fun. This is courtesy of my local Shoppers Drug Mart. So they randomly had hockey and football cards. And I was like, oh, neat.
Shoppers, when they have stuff, they have Pokemon cards sometimes. They I don't know what it is. If you're there at the right time, the pickings are good.
Yeah, I got these ones. I think we opened one of these packs before, these absolute football packs.
Yeah.
Opened one of those last night. Had a Mac Jones in there. And I was like, done. That pays for itself. So, perfect.
Damn. But we're not here to bore you with our hockey card talk. We're here to bore you with our Canadian content, hockey talk. And that is, we got some headlines to run through this week, Mick.
I already got the standings up. I'm looking at the 31st team, which is the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, Guy Lafleur died, so that's sad, but...
Carey Price returned. I can't remember if he returned in time for the show last week.
Yeah, because he had played the Friday night and they got lit up by the Islanders, and I put him in my FanDuel lineup for Saturday because I thought he was starting back to back. So
that's what it was. I remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they might. I think the Coyotes could catch them, so Montreal could have the best chance at best lottery odds at the end of the season.
Oh yeah, they're gonna battle it out. Eh? Look at that. For that 12%. What a worth it with all those big prospects this year too, right? Those high end talent that's going to change your franchise that's available.
There's been a steep decline in quality, and I think that pandemic kind of ruined development for a few kids. So, bit of a crapshoot.
Yeah, not maybe the best time to be tanking. If it could be helped. I don't think this situation, all honesty, as much as I hate them, the Canadians, I just think it was one of those. They had a bad season. I don't think it was an intentional tank job. So, yeah. But we move up. Go ahead. I was just going to say, I was like, something. No, that thought does not need to be finished. Just like the Montreal Canadiens season. They don't need to be finished. They can just stop. Just like the 26th team, the Ottawa Senators. Still just hanging out in the basement, not doing much. Anything on Ottawa?
The future's bright. We've talked about it. I'm okay passing on Ottawa. I got nothing to say.
Okie dokie. We can find the Winnipeg Jets at 19th from the top. And, that's 20-something from... No, 10-something from the bottom? I don't know. I don't know how reverse orders work anymore. This whole 32 teams is making it really confusing.
Yeah, counting backwards from 32 sucks.
13th?
But...
The 13th worst team?
Yeah, I think that's right. I saw a headline today, and Winnipeg's shocked that they're going to miss the postseason. It's like, what the fuck? We've been talking about this for months, about Winnipeg not being good enough for the postseason, and they're taken aback. They're like, how did we miss out on this?
No.
Guys,
last week we said there was a small chance. We looked at their schedule. We looked at everyone's schedules in front of them. Theirs was way harder, but there was still a slight chance. Just now there's no chance, so...
Oh, man. Time to reassess in Winnipeg. Paul Maurice kind of got out at the right time. At least they can't point this failure towards him.
If we cared as much about every Canadian team equally, right, and there was big news reports, that Paul Maurice story would honestly be one of the most shocking developments. This stalwart, right? He was an icon essentially for this franchise. He'd been with them, I think, ever since they came to Winnipeg, right? He's shown all their success. But then, just this weird mismanagement of the top guys has just kind of continually, I don't know, sapped them of strength. And Paul Maurice leaving mid-season, again, should have been a bigger story than it was. It wasn't. They missed the postseason. I guess we're not that shocked, so.
I don't know what's coming for Winnipeg, but I suspect that there's going to be some few changes. And hopefully, if they're smart, they're starting on the back end to figure out exactly how they can right the ship for next year.
Yeah, and Cheveldayoff does seem like he's one of those guys that I just kind of blindly trust for some reason. He does a good job, I guess, from a development point of view. Scouting development, he seems to kind of find that from the upper echelon. He I don't know, it just seems like maybe he's too abrasive or something, but they seem to have issues kind of keeping the big guys, right? So maybe
you're describing the guy in a windowless van. That's what I'm picturing right now. I'm picturing Kevin Cheveldayoff driving around in a big white windowless van, convincing free agents to hop in, and free agents just eventually kick the door open. They're like, nah, I don't want your candy.
Yeah. That's it. Maybe he just needs to work on his personal skills, what I'm saying. So, come on, Cheveldayoff. We understand talent, but, you'd, maybe hire someone that's a little bit more personal. I don't know. Something.
What the message is, don't be a dick. What you're saying is, don't be a dick, Kevin. Kevin, you're a dick. Stop being a dick.
Stop being a dick. Oh, hey, man, can I have some of these M&Ms during this interview? No, those are my M&Ms. I just put them there because I like to look at my food before I eat it. All right, that's weird.
The door closes on the interview and Kevin Cheveldayoff's shooting his M&Ms. I'm such a man.
Hey, Vancouver's 18th. Look at that. That's pretty exciting. Are they going to make the postseason? I feel like we played this game last week.
Story if they did.
Yeah, all right.
Who do they... Oh, they get the Flames tonight. That's probably going to be... That's going to have playoff intensity to it, I would say. I know that the Flames have the Pacific Division crown locked up. Or I think it's official now. I'm pretty sure they locked it up.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They can't be caught because they're up 8 points. 4 games left. Maybe they need one more. One more point over the next 4.
8 points, 4 games to go. They have the Y on the score app, and that means they clinched the division. So, congratulations.
Must be like a tie situation or something that they have over the Oilers. So,
yeah, I'm sure that 9-1 victory the other night. Well, I guess that was a couple months ago now. That probably furthers the cause. But we'll get to the Flames in a little bit. Vancouver, man, Elias Peterson's a guy I've been really impressed with recently. The guy just tearing it up, basically reinvigorating what we thought Elias Pettersson could be.
Okay.
And he's taken the Canucks with him. I think that he's thriving under Boudreau this season, and I believe now the Canucks are almost 20 games above 500 under Boudreau, which is absolutely insane. So if they don't make it this year, things are looking good for next year.
Nice, sweet yo. And yes, spoilers. The Vancouver might be in a good spot to win tonight. Come on, I had a whole segment about that later in the podcast. What are you doing? Look at this guy. Giving away for free? Ugh. All right, so Vancouver, better luck next year. The Oilers at 13th overall. It's pretty exciting. Looks like LA's probably going to lock down the third spot, which means we get LA, Edmonton. I know LA's probably not a pushover, but as an Oilers fan, I'd feel pretty good about a first-round matchup with the Kings. Looking at that Battle of Alberta in round 2.
See, I talked about this last week. The part that just chaps my ass is like this revenge narrative, and coupled out with the Oilers' terrible postseason history, I'm not convinced this is going to be a runaway. And kudos where we're not here to talk about the Kings, but we brought them up, so I'm going to say it. LA has low-key been one of the best teams in the league, and I just absolutely love what Todd McClellan's doing. I don't think you could name me 2 players on the Kings, and maybe 3 players. I don't think you could name more than 3 players on the Kings, and they are in the 3rd spot and probably like an incredibly tough division if so.
Doughty. Their goalie's like Cal Pedersen or something like that, maybe. There's a Kempe, Kopitar. 4.
Damn. But that's exactly it.
Mic drop.
Like, you tell me a guy like Adrian Kempe, Alex Iafallo, who's one other
Jeff
Victor
Carter. Look at this.
Jeff Carter's actually in Pittsburgh.
Oh, no. Well, all right. That's a shame.
We're just here to talk about Canada. I don't expect you to know.
No, that's not my forte. LA Kings. Yeah, no, but I agree. They seem like they're playing well. I would consider the Kings, Sharks, Ducks to be very similar builds, in terms of kind of their development and where they are. Maybe Kopitar is like a little bit better than the guys they have in those other squads, but like essentially in my mind, they're pretty similar squads. So the fact that they're outplaying those kind of perceptions, yeah.
But yeah, the Oilers, that wasn't a seamless transition. The Oilers, however, they are looking good right now. They are amplifying their metrics heading into the postseason. The most important thing they have working in their favor is Mike Smith is starting to figure his shit out. I just don't know how goaltender usage is going to impact them in the playoffs because Mike Smith is running hot, but we've seen the Oilers kind of flip-flop. I don't know. Maybe we're seeing a little bit under the new regime, Jay Woodcroft, but they flip-flop a little bit with their goalie, so I don't know. That's the one question mark for me. Are they at their peak? Offensively, yes. With goaltending, maybe Mike Smith's peaking a little too early, but that's not to say Koskinen can't step in and be the guy, so yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, nice. I feel comfortable, confident with that first round matchup, right? That we're kind of, we don't want to get too much, but it's just one of those things. Eventually, you can't be that bad. Like Draisaitl and McDavid score at will during the regular season, and then they just get shut down in the postseason. Like that narrative has to flip flop eventually, right? Like you figure this is kind of can't be another replay of like the Blackhawks series from a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, and that's the part. Like I said, the narrative of this first round matchup scares me because it's Todd McClellan, and this is kind of the story's written itself, so to speak. And that if Todd McClellan walks away victorious, people are like, "Wow, this was his revenge spot," and they're right. This would be his revenge spot. So
I guess. All right. Well, there we go. So Downer, Edmonton. They're a little more north than Calgary, but Calgary's on top of them right now. Look at that. Look at that seamless transition to 7th. 7th overall. Calgary Flames locked up the Pacific Division. Didn't see that one coming, but good season from the Flames. First round matchup yet to be decided. They probably get Nashville. Again, sounds like kind of a fun thing. Nashville. They like the country music. They probably have rodeos. Calgary likes their country music. They have a rodeo.
That's it. Moving on. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I've been doing some work. I've been in the lab this week. I got some Bunsen burners going. I've got some material for us for the Flames today. So,
All right. Well, I wanted to talk about Johnny Gaudreau, but I'd love to hear your perspective first.
Let's start with Johnny Gaudreau. And that's a good place to start. What's going on with Johnny Gaudreau?
He has moved into third in this league scoring. And the one thing that I think the Flames are going to kick themselves on is now they're going to overpay for contract year Johnny Gaudreau rather than getting him on a cheaper extension last year. Big misplay. Your gamble has not paid off.
Yeah.
Who is that? Brad Treliving. So, but I stand by my assessment. I think Johnny Gaudreau is the Hart Trophy winner this year. This guy's just been the most important part of the Flames team, and he's been one of the best league-wide.
Nice. Yeah, and I mean, again, I think we talked about this last week, where you're going to get you're going to have 5 guys and 3 nominees, right? There's going to be 2 guys that are left off the ballot. There's a very strong talent pool this year. It's not one of those things. I don't think any of those top 5 guys should feel bad about not winning. I realize you don't get the accolades later on, but this is definitely not one of those shameful walk away kind of years, right? If you miss out. But yeah, I do think Gaudreau knows he's in a contract year. He's playing for it, and that's a shame, I also heard that he doesn't even want to be in Calgary. And potentially the only reason he's playing hard this year is so he can get out of Calgary and go somewhere else and make some money. So, see where that goes.
He heard there was Edmonton was a nice place to visit in the winter, so he really had his heart set on northern Alberta.
Well, I think he's from Philly. That's the rumor I've always heard, is he wants to play in Philadelphia.
What the fuck? Who would willingly go to Philadelphia?
Man, Gritty? Come on.
You think that... Yeah.
Liberty Bell? Cheesesteaks?
Joel Embiid? 76.
He's like, you could go be best friends with Joel Embiid. And Joel, I was like, I'm not going to be a short white guy. It's not going to be my best friend. I'm 7 foot tall. You're too short.
Oh, well, like, wherever he ends up, and I guess maybe that's part of the motivation, is to just have that carte blanche to end up wherever he wants. He's going to get paid.
Yeah.
But it is an interesting point that we could see an all-Canadian Hart Trophy finalist group between Gaudreau, Matthews, and McDavid.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd be shocked if it was any other 3.
Yeah, like maybe McKinnon, I think maybe I have to throw up there. Shesterkin, they really like that guy, right? Like he gets kind of a lot of buzz. There's a lot of just media in New York, right? So you'd be surprised if that kind of takes a little bit of the narrative. But like, still, again, a great 5. Not discrediting the guys that don't make it, right? Like, he had a great year, so... But are you ready for my laboratory work?
I want to hear it.
All right.
Dr. Mick.
All right, so now that we know the Flames are definitely going to make the postseason, and I've held off because I wasn't sure. They might have fallen off at any point up until this point. I didn't want to jinx it. A couple years ago, I was trying to do this thing, like, I was trying to do a campaign, a slogan that we could have for the postseason, right? Fell flat. This year, I'm coming with fire. Like, I've done it. I'm nice. Now, historically, Red Mile, we have shirts off for kippers off, right? Show your boobs, essentially, is what that was. There's a problem with that. It's exclusive, right? Not everyone wants to show their boobs. Not everyone likes looking at boobs. Yes, I know it's shocking, but there's a small group out there, they don't want to see boobs. And some girls don't want to show their boobs, right? So very, very exclusive. I'm thinking we make it like all inclusive, all encompassing. So that's where I came at this today. I actually started with the man Johnny Gaudreau, but then I realized how uninclusive this group was. So I thought first one was, let's do some blow with Johnny Gaudreau. But not everyone does drugs, I suppose, right? So I was like, all right, let's maybe do a row with Johnny Gaudreau. And I was thinking like the exercise or something. You could do like this, but then that also just kind of sounds like drugs. So
yeah, I thought maybe like when you were saying row, I was like maybe there's a cool new drug. Then I was like maybe a row of shots.
Yeah,
all right. A little ambiguous.
All right, so again, all inclusive. That's what we're doing. So we're gonna walk away with this one. And I wanted to do something like empowering. So I have a real banger on this one. I'll save it. I'll start with this one. So let's do something family friendly. You know what everyone likes? Butts. Little kids like butts. They're funny. Guys like butts. Girls like butts. Butts are big. Like everyone's doing those butts. Like those little like exercises where people do like at the gym. Those are all the rage. Everyone's got a nice butt nowadays. So what if we do a butt focused one, right? Shake your butt or something like that. Everyone can take part in that. So what about flex your butt for Matthew Tkachuk?
Oh man, you're okay staring down man booty, man ass. That's okay.
I think it's nice. You know, it's again, we could if it's a nice butt.
I guess what I'm just picturing is opening up Instagram and I'm like, scrolling through the usual business here, and then all of a sudden it's like this big sweaty man ass, like But it is 2022. I have to be okay with these things.
Well, I'm thinking like we do like we're not like mooning. We do like closed butts, right? Like maybe a nice like pair of jeans or something like that, right?
Yeah, some Dumb and Dumber-esque type stuff, like he must work out.
Yeah, exactly,
vibes.
exactly. Okay, or how about this one? Like this one's probably a little bit more rare, right? But shake your booty for Dylan Doobie.
You could probably ask 10 Flames fans, and I would say half of them would be like, "Oh yeah, Dylan Doobie."
Oh yeah, he works. He works here. Oh, okay, I've seen him work before. Okay, all right. Or then the final one is shake your bum for Jakob Markstrom. Like lots of options. We have a very very encompassing group here, right? So
what's working in your favor is that there's so many terms for cabooses, and that is you could really align this with just about any rhyming sound. So that Markstrom one stuck with me. Shake your bum for Jacob Markstrom. I like that.
Yeah, it works with the goalie too if he gets kind of hot or something. And again, shaking your butt. You can do it sexily. Girls can do it sexily. You can do it kind of like ironically, like the big man butt, right? Like little kids can even take part. So everyone can really take part in this, right? And it's funny. Bums are like, they can be sexy. They can also be funny. There's lots of uses for a butt. So,
man, have you put this out on? Have you leveraged the idea on social media?
No, this was I needed to do like Canada Puck exclusive, like get you in on the ground level, and I need like audio proof that this is the time stamped. I came up with this, so
smart. All
right, okay, and then I've got some other ones. So again, this kind of came organically. So I guess we'll start if we have to go back to the Oilers for this one. Why haven't you been using this for years? You have a guy. This can be an empowerment. This could be a playoff beard. It could be a hair. It could just be any body hair whatsoever. Don't shave it for McDavid. Right?
Oh, man. How have we missed this? Oh, all these years we've been looking for an inclusive playoff beard. Don't shave it for McDavid is it.
Yeah, I know. I'm really proud of that one. That's the top of my little notes that I wrote down. So
rightfully so. That belongs at the top.
Yeah. Don't
shave it for Connor McDavid. Oh man.
Yeah.
I know we talked about T-shirts a few years ago, but I think that this is the year it all comes together.
I like it. I think it's great. And then on that note, as I was kind of workshopping this just a little bit, it came to me. Let it grow for Johnny Gaudreau. Or let it flow, right? Maybe got a nice flow or something like that. We do a hair-related thing, right? Maybe I should have started with that one and ended with McDavid, because obviously the don't shave it for McDavid is the best one. So,
but let it grow for Johnny Gaudreau. Like, don't discount that either. That's gonna sell. That's gonna move T-shirts. Yeah. Oh man. Okay, I'm excited. You got me amped up. I'm glad that you turned those Bunsen burners on.
It was tough. It was some long nights in the lab down here. So, yeah, I did it. I did some God's work. So,
God's work. Putting in the time. Don't shave it for Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Let it grow for Johnny Gaudreau. I feel like those shirts are going to sell themselves.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how we roll. It's how we roll. So, there you go. I don't have anything noteworthy or in terms of actual hockey, but from a marketing point of view, all right.
Yeah, you know what? That we filled the flame segment with A+ material, so I'm okay. We only got one team left to run through here in headlines.
All right, so fourth overall, tied for third place with the Carolina Hurricanes, the New York Rangers, and your Toronto Maple Leafs at 108 points, most in franchise history, an historic season. But they did lose to Tampa Bay like 8-1, so it's probably just a wash. They're probably not going to get anywhere. They suck.
Stupid Toronto. I was really hoping, for the sake of my Austin Matthews is not the best player in the league argument, that they would just run train. It's a tougher argument to make with them losing as badly as they did. Mm-hmm. But I think things got out of control later in the game. I wasn't watching, but I was following along on the box score, and I saw that Toronto was kind of carrying the pace for the early part of the game. I I just don't want Austin Matthews to win the Hart Trophy.
Sure.
That's where I'm coming at right now. I don't think he's the best player in the league.
Sure.
I know he's going to win it, but I don't think he's the best player in the league.
Yeah, pound for pound, I'm going to be biased. I mean, best goal scorer, yeah. And I mean, does Ovechkin deserve a couple Harts? Yeah, I think so. Does he deserve them all the time? No. But in a rare occasion when he's having like a dominating performance, is Toronto up there? Again, like, they're tied for third, right? Like, they're almost better than a whole other, like, how many other divisions are they better than? 2? They have more points in 2 other divisions, and they're in, like, second, right? So, the fact that you're seeing the Florida, Tampa Bay, Boston are all top 10, and they're there too, they obviously play some good competition, or they play terrible competition most of the time. I don't know. Take from that with what you want, right?
Yeah, you can make the argument either way, I think, because the bottom 4 teams are that much worse than the top 4 teams, maybe.
Yeah.
But they have done great things with the roster that they have and the division they're competing in. Toronto is a legitimate Stanley Cup contender, but my point of contention is just that you could take Austin Matthews off that team and they would still be a top-tier team. And that's not to diminish his goal-scoring abilities, because he is, like you said, one of the best goal scorers in the league, if not the premier goal scorer in the league right now. I just don't think that... And you saw it, who did they beat earlier in the week? They knocked off a couple teams. But when he's gone and they still compete and they still win those games and they still put up 4 goals, 5 goals, it's easier to say, well, you know what? Matthews is is their primary contributor.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's the best player in the league.
Well, it'll be probably big. I mean, probably big weekend then from that point of view, right? Because they get the Panthers tonight, so they keep it close. He gets a couple goals, right? If he hits 60, and I think they get Washington tomorrow, and then it looks like Detroit and Boston the rest of the week. So I could see him maybe not playing the Boston game, right? Maybe not the Detroit game if they win the next 2. So could be telling. I don't know.
I think what we saw when he was approaching 50 was the Leafs doing everything in their power to get him the puck so that he could get to 50. I feel like that they would try something similar to get him to 60 to his own detriment. Like, come back, try and get these 2 goals, and then rest up for the playoffs.
I hate that. I hate when they put single player accolades in front of the greater good. Now, this probably isn't the case, right? Like, if the Leafs lose their next 4 games because, like, they're forcing the puck to... Nothing bad happens, right? It's not like they drop down in the standings. But my favorite is Burley. When the Leafs were chasing the division title a couple years ago or something like that, and the last game of the season, because they wanted to get Mark Burley to his 200 innings for the season, and he blew it against Baltimore in that final game, and they ended up dropping into the wild card spot. I think that's how it happened. And then they ended up just not being able to claw back. That really chapped my ass, that game, because like they definitely could have beat Baltimore had they just not played a tired Mark Burley, who then gave up a bunch of easy runs. They didn't even get to the 200 inning mark, and I think that cost them a chance, like a real playoff spot. And I was like, stupid! What a stupid way to manage a team.
I didn't know that you had such a utilitarian approach to your sports love and fandom, but
yeah.
I respect that. I agree. I've always been a team first kind of person, because you're right. And you saw it when you focus so much, when you dedicate so much energy to somebody's, like you said, personal accolades, it comes at the expense of the team. And I don't think that the Leafs are doing themselves a service by bringing him back so that he can get to 60.
No. I mean, there's some, like, play a couple competitive games, play against 2 playoff teams, 2 top 12 teams in the league between Florida and Washington the next couple days. You know, get that last little bit of kind of ring rust off, get ready for the postseason, right? Maybe play one against Detroit or something, or that one against Boston. Just so you aren't taking like 2 weeks off before the playoffs. Makes sense too, but we'll see. If their game plan is literally just feed Austin the puck tonight and they end up losing like 5-1 or something as a result, I don't know, maybe not doesn't sit super well.
Yeah, you got what you deserve. Is Austin Matthews confirmed back for tonight, or are we just speculating?
Yes.
He is.
A couple of the accounts I've seen says Austin is back tonight, so that's what I'm going off of.
I've said this before. I've been proven wrong before, but I'm going to say it again. People coming back is always a letdown spot for me, so I don't know if especially 8-1 victory, then you're going to be competitive, but that's a tough loss to bounce back from on a quick turnaround.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tampa Bay this last week, they lost to like 4-1 to Detroit, and then 2 days later beat the Leafs 8-1. So hockey's a weird sport at this time of the year.
Yeah, get fucked, hockey. You're so stupid.
There's that weird period between January and the trade deadline where like these crappy players are playing to like try and get out of their crappy situations, so they play above their metrics. And I feel like things have like really leveled off because my underdog bets just haven't been hitting it with the same frequency in the last couple weeks, and it's sad.
I've recognized the same thing in that, underdogs are not a safe place to invest your money these days.
No. So we'll get to that a little bit later, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, hockey sometimes doesn't make sense, like random things, just like the Buffalo Sabres sweeping the Leafs this year. Sure, why not? Right? But those are few and far between, I think, at this point in the series. Anyways, so that's kind of it for headlines. Good stuff, quality content. FanDuel?
You know what? I talked about this. I opened up with this. I don't want to talk about anything gambling related. Been a long few months for old Grant White here. I think you must have done all right last week, though, didn't you?
I won $1. So I barely scraped into the money. I think 16th was my guy, and 16th is literally the last cash spot. Yeah. By 0.8. By 0.8 points, I got $1 back. So.
Well, that ain't not bad. I did better, relatively better. Finished middle of the pack-ish. 117-ish. Okay. I'm just waiting for this thing to load here. Yeah, 117.3. Matthew Tkachuk did it for me.
Nice.
Jacob Marks did it for me. And then everybody else was just mediocre. Tage Thompson had 14, and everyone else was below 10. So,
yeah. Well, I had so Giordano 36 points, great. Noah Hannafin 17 points, awesome. Lindholm with 42.4 points. Everyone else didn't even get double digits, except during the podcast I had Dawes, the goalie for the Devils against the Kraken, and I think I had Max Domi in one of my utility spots, and then I made the heads-up play to switch Carey Price for Dawes, and I ended up upgrading to Jamie Benn. Jamie Benn got 16 points. Carey Price had 0 points. So 16 points between those two. I think Max Domi ended up with 4 points, and Dawes ended up with 4 points. So I actually doubled my point total by starting a goalie that didn't even play. So good job, me.
That's the type of heads-up DFS stuff you can expect from us moving.
At one point when I looked and it was like 6-1 or something Washington over, I was like, I really hope Carey Price ends up in this game at some point so he can get some pity points as like a third string kind of like entry because they're getting lit up so badly. But sadly he didn't dress for the game. But like I almost got randomly goalie a backup. Like that doesn't happen very often.
No, well, good for you. Maybe that is a good omen for what you got in store this week. What kind of heads-up plays are you making for tonight's slate?
Ooh, what did I do? I think my goalie is just whoever's playing the Coyotes.
Well, that's a bad sign, but continue.
All right, what's wrong with that? Ville Husso for the Blues against the Coyotes. So,
It's a bad sign because I also have Ville Husso, so I'll be changing. But anyways, continue.
All right. So utility, I like to find just like bargain barrel. So Connor Brown, second line for the Senators playing Montreal, $4,500. And Hamburger, Phil Kessel himself, $4,300. That's a steal of a deal. So that's my utility spots. I have Rasmus Anderson and Noah Hannafin at $5,300 and $5,100 respectively for the Flames. I think they both play. And then that gives me all the money I want in the world. Elias Lindholm at center at $7,800. Trevor Zegras against the Kings tonight, $5,600. Sam Reinhart against the Leafs, $66,000, and Drake Batherson at $6,800. Others new is $700 extra, so I can upgrade any of these positions whatsoever, and I might do that as we sit here and talk. I might tinker.
Well, don't take it from me because you're better off on your own. I had a blue stack today, but now that I see that we're both on the same page with Ville Husso, I know that the universe, it happens every time. Every fucking time we do this, and you know what? It took 77 games, but I figured it out. I'm getting off the Blues train.
All right.
I'm going to tell you who I got anyways, but starting up top, Robert Thomas, the Robert Thomas plays on the first line in St. Louis. Second leading point scorer behind Vladimir Tarasenko, $6,200. Doesn't make sense to me. Even if I'm not going with the blue stack, chances are I'm keeping Robert Thomas. Mikhail Granlund, similar position, top line in Nashville. They get Brian Elliott tonight. I don't think Brian Elliott is a difference maker. I know that he's having outstanding years, 10-3-3, 91.5 save percentage. Good for Brian Elliott, but it's going to be better for Mikhail Granlund because Brian Elliott is not that type of goalie. Brian Elliott is not an 11-win goalie. You heard it here first. I paired him with Philip Forsberg on the top line. 8,900, he's a splurge, but Forsberg, basically the offense runs through Forsberg. I like the Sharks tonight, too. They get Kevin Lankinen. They're at home. Timo Meier, Thomas Hertl. Meier's the more expensive of the option, but again, I like this. Maybe that's the duo theme that I've taken with my lineup today. Meier and Hertl. Defensively, I have Miro Heiskanen and Alexander Romanov. I think goals are going to be flowing pretty naturally in Ottawa. And Miro Heiskanen, again, I say this every fucking week. I always end up with the Stars defenseman. You could choose any one of their top four. Miro Heiskanen, I think, was one of the more cheaper options. He was below Esa Lindell and John Klingberg, but he plays on the top line power play, so I'm going Heiskanen. Utility. Oh, I guess I already talked about one of my utility spots. Barrett Hayton. He's a Coyotes, not top goal scorer, but big offensive contributor. $3,900. Again, power play time, first line minutes. I have Ville Husso. I don't know who I'm going to replace him with, but Ville Husso, you get the fuck out of here. You're gone.
All right, cool. What changes did I make? Kopitar, I moved him in instead of Lindholm, which saved me a ton of money. I ended up upgrading whoever my second winger was. Top of my head, I don't know. JT Miller, $8,300. And then I replaced Rasmus Anderson for Mackenzie Weegar. Florida Panthers defenseman. I kind of feel like they're going to put us some points against, or get some goals against the Leafs tonight. So I'm going to get Reinhart and Weegar. See if that gets me somewhere. So those are the two changes I made.
Damn. I'm going to roll the dice here. I took out Ville Husso. I was looking long and hard at Anton Forsberg. Well, truthfully, who I really wanted was, where'd he go here? I really wanted UC Saros, but he's $100 out of my price range. So I flipped the coin between Anton Forsberg and Thatcher Demko, landed on Demko. I might fiddle around here, upgrade my defense, because Romanov's great and everything, but I've got an extra $600, $700 to spend now.
Yeah, I have an extra $100. I'm okay with that. Sitting on $700, I was like, I could tinker. So I feel a little more comfortable with the changes I made. I think Miller is a big upgrade over Drake Batherson tonight. So we'll see if that pays off for me. And save.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here. Come on. Inspiration. No.
That's sad. Sad when we don't have inspiration.
I might tinker.
Right.
Right now, I got, if nothing else, Alexander Romanov's in there, but I'll probably tinker here a little bit and figure out. Maybe I'll take out Heiskanen too. You know what? Heiskanen and Romanov for the podcast's sake, but that's likely to change.
All right, cool, man. Cool. Well, if you make $1 billion, tell us about it. It's a shame. That's all we can say about that.
That's the thing that I hate about DFS is there's always that glimmer of hope where before everything starts, you're like, I could have $100,000 roster sitting in front of me. And, baseball's been going all right. Hockey's been a fucking slog. But if I did win $100,000, you know what I would tell you, Mick? I wouldn't tell many people, but I'd tell you.
Cool. Nice. That's good stuff. All right. Fantasy advice. Done. Boom. Let's make you some money gambling, because that's basically all we do here. Sitting flush with cash over here in Canada Puck South. How's Canada Puck North doing?
Oh, not good. Grant White's not doing so good. I've just been, pooping myself the end of the season. I can't figure it out. I got, you know what? I did have 4 picks, obviously, with a parlay included.
Yep.
But I'm going to bump it up to 5 picks because, like I said, I'm learning my lessons. Slow learner, but I'm learning. How did you do last week? I can't even remember who your picks were. I went 0 for 3, I believe. 0 for 4.
That's too bad. I went 2 and 2. I had a parlay and I had money on the Sens. Sens plus 1.5. So when they went to overtime, I was like, great, hit it. My $50 became $90. So that was pretty fun. And then I also had a 14 parlay of the Kings, the Flames, the Bolts, and the Caps. And I'm pretty sure the Caps won 8-4. The Bolts went off against Winnipeg, something like 6-2. The Flames went like 9-1 against the Coyotes. I think they were 1-0 after the and then they put up like 8 goals or something in like 5 minutes. And it was down to the Kings over the Blue Jackets. So I turned $50 into $168. So I'm up $158 plus my initial $100 from last week. Had a pretty good return. About $850 on the year. I could almost hit $1,000.
Damn. Everybody listen to what Vic has to say, because things seem to be going all right for him. Not the same for me. I don't know how much money I'm down. You know, a part of me thought, I was like, yeah, I should just put this $100 in my pocket and not gamble it. But if I'm not spending hypothetical money, what am I doing with my life? So
yeah, like if you're at that point where you're like, I'm just going to keep it. It's just not. I mean, I've also been there before. Like, I'm on a hot streak, doing pretty well for myself. But like, yeah, it happens.
And see, like baseball, even last night, actually, I had a nice little 2-team parlay. I don't know what it is about Saturdays in hockey, but I'm unrelenting in my approach because, again, I have overtime picks to share. I had 3 plus a parlay. I have 4 plus a parlay. How many do you have?
2.
Just 2. All right. I'm going to let her rip here.
All right.
Nashville Predators.
Yeah.
I think that this is an outstanding spot for the Preds. Tampa Bay is off that 8-1 win, and good for them. However, their metrics have been deteriorating over the last 2-3 weeks. They've been outplayed in 6 of their past 10. I think this 2 Stanley Cup runs is catching up with them. Nashville plays a tremendous offensive brand of hockey, and Brian Elliott is not the type of goalie to limit that. I know, say what you will, 10-3-3, blah, 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 blah. Brian Elliott is not that goalie. I had originally put $30 on Preds to win, but I had to amend things. $20 at plus 132. Preds over the Lightning to win 26-40.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I will mention, I'm pretty sure last week too, I also told you minus 185 series price on the Sixers over the Raptors. Easy money. Sitting up 3-0 on that series. I really hope someone listened to me. That's all I'm going to say.
Tooting your own horn, and rightfully so. That was an outstanding call. Raps are getting outplayed kind of on both ends of the court. But it is good to see them. I get a joy out of watching the Toronto Raptors play in a playoff game at home. There's just such intensity, such energy in that building. I think that's awesome. And it's like in stark contrast to what you get with the Toronto Maple Leafs, because it's just a bunch of suit dummies who ruin the atmosphere there. But anyways, I'm going to go through one more here. Over 6.5 in Montreal at Ottawa. I don't even know who's starting, but I don't care who's starting. You could put in any one of those 6 goalies that those teams roll through, and I'm like, you know what? I don't care.
Perfect. Yeah, I was looking at that too. Yeah, at one point I was like, I like the over in that game, but that's not the strategy this week. So,
all right, $20 to win 18-18 minus 1.
Nice. I'm going to take an emotional hedge here. So speaking of the emotions, I told you, emotional hedge against me. Florida, minus 135. I'm going to put $50 whole on that to win about $87. And if the Leafs win, well, they win. Who needs $50? Psh.
I think that's a great spot to be in. If Matthews is coming back, I think this is just a flat spot. One of those games we talked about it. They're just going to do everything they can to get him to 60, and it's going to come at the expense of their system and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. But I was tinkering with the idea that game might go to overtime, but I landed on the other Hockey Night in Canada game. Vancouver at Calgary. Canucks have gone to overtime in 2 of their past 5. We've seen this trend with them under Boudreau where if they're going to lose, they're at least going to get a point. So I think that, and again, the stakes are a little higher for them. I thought about taking them outright. Calgary just plays a really good defensive game, and that's kind of the rationale that I used to say Calgary's just going to neutralize, and this game's going to go to overtime. Following the Canucks second half trend here, $30. It just came down. It was plus 370. It's plus 360. $30 to win 108.
Yeah, I noticed that line was changing too, because last night I was going to take Vancouver just straight up at plus. It was like I want to say 195 plus 185 or something like that. It was down when I checked this morning, plus 170. So I'm going to just take the Canucks straight up. They're kind of in that do or die. Maybe a little too late, but like there's still a chance they can make the postseason. The Flames clinching a spot. I don't know if the big guys are going to sit this one out. Maybe not. This might be one of the last kind of hurrahs. Hockey Night in Canada, they might have something to show, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a bit of a letdown game, right? Just they don't really have much to play for, whereas the guys on the ice are do or die, right? So a little bit of plus money, almost 2-1 odds. I don't hate that, and I'm guessing the public is also agreeing with me. The fact that that line has dropped significantly overnight, so.
Yeah, that's normally a pretty good indicator that sharp bettors are following. Like, that's books. So I would say you're probably on the right track with that one. My last overtime play, I just wrote this in as we were talking about it. And that is because I constantly do this where I'm like, one day I'm going to listen to what me and Mick do and what we say. And I'm going to actually, pay attention to what we've said and the trends that always occur. And that is the St. Louis Blues are not going to win tonight because we both had Ville Husso. So I had this game going to overtime. I feel like this is a safe way to play it. Overtime plus 400. I could be talked into the Coyotes if you think it's Coyotes, but I'm saying overtime at plus 400, $20 to win 80. When you parlay that all together, $10, I got $10 left, it pays over 1,000. So I'm going with the 4-team, 4-leg parlay, $10 to win 1,000. I'm back in it for their.
Like, you actually have to go back and do all the math. If you hit this week, if you hit that plus 1,000, like for almost $1,000, you have to go back and like do the math because like I'm so curious. I'm like diligent. I'm gonna be like $800 on the season. I want you to be at like also $800. Like you win $800. That's great.
Maybe.
That's great.
I think that's almost the break-even point for me.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Grant almost broke even this year. Thanks, universe.
There you go. Yeah, so I did like that. I was actually looking, I think, plus 1.5. You could get plus money. It was like plus 150 or something like that with the Coyotes. And I was like, I don't hate that. We talked about it the last couple of weeks jokingly. I was like, at some point, the Coyotes have to win, right? Like, they have to win at some point, so... big Coyotes news. They did release the pricing chart for the 3,000 seats that they can sell at all the home games next year. It's pretty exciting.
$6 gets you into an NHL game.
The cheapest ones were like $110. I mean, because every seat is like prime seating. It's like lower bowl. There's only 10 rows, so.
Could you imagine? This team is gonna get outsold by Junior A teams. Like, get the fuck over yourselves, Coyotes. What are you thinking? $110.
If you play in the farm system of the Coyotes and you get called up to the big leagues next season, you're going to be playing in a smaller arena than you would on like the AHL team.
You're going to be getting changed on like the gym locker room.
Yeah, they're like
golf carted in.
You're going to be like, I don't want to get called up this season because like I play in a nicer arena and like my like AHL like facilities.
Oh man!
And this it just once in a while.
Laughable situation. Oh, I don't know how you bunged this up so bad.
I don't know.
Arizona.
I don't know. So there you go. We said something nice about Arizona, so we had to like knock them down a peg because like we're like, oh, people are gonna think we're sellouts. Also, oh look at these guys, also talking now nicely about the Coyotes.
The best is gonna be next week when we're both in Arizona Coyotes jerseys, and that's.
I bought a jersey. I bought one ticket. They sent me this jersey. Phil Kessel's coming over later to sign a bunch of stuff. So
you got the Glenroy machine in the background, turning, cooking the smokies. Oh man,
there was I remember maybe it was 10 years ago or something. I was looking at Florida Panther season tickets, like what came with a season tickets and whatever. It was like $1,000 for your tickets, and you got like a signed jersey, and like your players would like give your like a shout out to you, and it was all these things, and like you went down and I was like, this definitely more than $1,000 in value that they're just giving away so you could actually sell tickets. And I was considering, I was like, I don't know if the Panthers will ever be good enough that I want a signed jersey, but
those are the days when you get like the Radic Goodass shout out. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Radic.
Yeah, that's good. He's like, we have to pay you for something because you're clearly not playing hockey very well. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Well, best of luck to you on those bets today.
You too.
I'm coming for you. I don't think that there's a chance I get you before the end of the regular season, but heads up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. So that ends that. That means all we have left is so Grant doesn't have a game. I was gonna open a pack of cards. Quickly checking with other sports. I randomly threw my Raptors take out there. I don't know. I was just trying to kill time.
Well, I'm excited. Baseball, just every time I see a baseball game, I'm like, I gotta go and do that. And we're getting shitty weather here in Calgary, so hopefully it'll come eventually. But the NBA playoffs, man, we were talking about this before we hit record. What the hell is going on in the NBA these days that teams are coming back from 30-point deficits and winning outright? Not even winning outright, covering the spreads too, like his favorites. Memphis with that massive comeback against the Timberwolves last night. Like, just your emotions. I can't even imagine a Miami Heat fan's emotions going from a 21-0 run to start the second half to losing 110 or 111-110. It's different. It's different in the NBA playoffs, and it's exciting. Everybody, this is mixed take, but everybody shows up and everybody's ready to play, which is a little bit different from the regular season.
100%, definitely a different beast. And yeah, we were just talking about. I've been on some live lines. I didn't bet the Hawks or the Heat over the Hawks when they were down. Live game. I was looking at it. And I definitely was thinking about it, and then seeing how close it was at the end. That would have been a bit of a roller coaster for me. But yeah, doing some live bets if your book allows it with basketball games. If the favorites are down a little bit, like, they might be coming back, right? Especially if you watch in game, because I think it was game 2, the same thing. They were down, or was it game 2? I feel like they were down a lot, and at halftime they were down 10 points, and it was like John Morant is like 1 for 13 from the 3-point line, and they were down by 10 points, and I was like, oh, so if he just like hits 33% of his shots, right? Like, you give him 4 more shots, they're up. I was like, well, that's a no-brainer. Sure enough, they came back. That deficit is nothing. 10, 12 points really is it like, what, 4 plays? 5 plays? And all of a sudden it's different, right? So basketball, just because of the high scoring, those threes, it's kind of a little screwy, right? Like, leads seem greater than they are, and sportsbooks don't always adjust for that, so.
It is crazy how quickly momentum shifts. Like, a steal and a 3-ball, or, a 3-ball, a steal, and a 3-ball, and you're really right back into any game, so.
Yeah. Yeah, like, more mature coaches or experienced guys like the Spoelstras will know to call a timeout, kill the momentum, whereas some of the less experienced guys will just sit there and watch, like, the 15-0 runs, and then they'll call a timeout. And you're like, what were you doing for the last 2 minutes, buddy? You're like, oh, the guys will figure it out. They never figure it out.
That's exactly what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Nate McMillan, Hawks head coach, did not call a timeout. 21-0 run, he did not call a timeout. Eric Spoelstra, he was forced to call a timeout after he tuckered his players out. They had no energy left. Like, you guys barely dogging down the court. It was like, maybe I should kill our momentum here a little bit because they're just running out of steam.
Yeah. Yeah. So, one of those things, again, not telling you how to gamble, but right now, live betting, underdog lines and stuff like that, it's a good way to make some cash.
Same thing in MLB. I've seen a lot of comeback victories so far this year. Teams, the Jays most notably in their season opener, but these leads, the Mariners, I had money on the Mariners the other night. They were up 5-0. They go on to lose 8-6, I think was the final. Like, just wackiness. I love live betting. The advent of live betting makes honestly, if you're paying attention and you're willing to scrape by with like a 4 to 6% margin, you can get by live betting and just watching sports and playing lines. So
yeah, pretty much. Cool, yo. Other than that, I guess we have a draft next week. We can look at the NFL draft.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it's Thursday night. I've heard there's really no kind of all-stars. There's a couple good wide receiver prospects. We'll see if some trades happen. The Panthers have something like pick 6th, and then they don't pick again to round 4, so they're definitely trading that pick for some capital, maybe some seconds or something like a late first and some thirds. Just try and move that. So I can see the Jaguars. I saw a report that they're not trading the first overall pick, but if I was the Jaguars, I would definitely trade the first overall pick for more stuff.
That's exactly what the Jaguars need. They don't need another all-world talent.
No.
They need to dig themselves out of this hole.
They don't need another ace on the field. They need like 5 B pluses kind of thing, right? So like trading that first for a late first and like 3/3 is kind of what they should be doing. So I don't know. That's what I'm most interested to see, kind of where guys move. What teams reach for a quarterback that we can make fun of.
That's always the best part. Who can we laugh, like, which player is going to get stuck playing with the New York Jets?
Yeah. There we go. Breaking news live on the pod. Scotty Barnes just won Rookie of the Year, so.
Man, timing's everything, they say. Look at that. Even when we're talking about other sports, it still comes through.
Yeah. So, there you go. So, good stuff there. All the Raptors fans that have been on Twitter trying to trade Fred and Siakam after Game 3's performance. I realize you became fans in June of 2019, but there's been some hardships. This is not the worst series. This is the Raptors fans. We have a Rookie of the Year. Guy looks like he's going to be, like, sky's the limit. Relax, Relax. It's okay. Let's Aaron Rodgers.
Masai we trust. That guy always figures it
I was
out,
thinking
so.
that. I was like going for a walk today, and I was like, I wonder how the Raptors deal with, say, like Embiid and Giannis going forward. And I was like, I bet you if you look at the Raptors 906 roster, he's got some like 7'2" Cameroonian, like 250-pound center or something that's like this like diamond in the rough that he's been working on or something. And I was like, Masai's got it. Don't worry. Like he'll figure it out.
It is, yeah. It's exciting with the Raptors. A few years removed from a championship, but not at the expense of the franchise moving forward.
Yeah.
There was that shitty year last year where they played in Tampa or Orlando, wherever it was.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding, this is still a great young team.
Mm-hmm.
Siakam and Barnes up front, Van Vliet in the backcourt. It doesn't matter who you add around them. It's basically...
I mean, there's no bigs, right? Like Kem Birch and Boucher are two tall, skinny guys that can shoot threes, but that's about it. They need bigger bodies. And that's kind of it. And there's a lot of centers out there that are available because teams are crunched, right? Like Nurkic for the Trailblazers, Rudy Gobert might be done in Seattle or like Utah. So there's moves. Orlando has like 12 big men. I'm sure you could go trade for one of them, like go trade for one of their prospects. And he's like, just come in, we just need a Dennis Rodman. Like literally just elbow guys, fucking get flagrants. We don't even care. Like, that's what we just need, a big body to bang guys. So.
Big body to bang, guys. I don't want to look at your porn search, Mick.
Or do you? Do you? All right, so that was the most random Canada Puck wrap-up, where I think we talked about a little bit of everything, but nothing in the end. So it's pretty exciting.
That's basically it. There's this line from Community where it's the Joel McHale character. I can't remember, Jeff Winger. He's talking about the communication is just ants. Like ants communicate the best because they just vomit basically chemicals, and other people just waste their time talking. So if you're feeling a little bit nihilist, that's the approach you can always take. Is that we're all just ants spewing vomit.
That's what we do here. So we'll open one pack of cards, see if we get any cool, maybe some big bodies that can bang guys. Specifically, big bodies. Let's see. All right. Nice paper cards. Oh, look at that. Beauty off the top. We got Mac Zuccarello. Who doesn't love us Matt Zuccarello? I got a John Tavares. So many Maple Leafs.
I do like the look of those ones.
Oh, look at that. Marquee rookie Philippe Gustafsson for the Senators. An Alexander Georgiev, because if you wanted the Rangers goalie, that's definitely the one you want right now. Let's see, Braden Point, Horenski, Nick Suzuki, and Max Pacioretty. I'll show the Canadian guy. Didn't love these cards. They're growing on me. I like them, yeah.
I'm not enamored with any of the pulls from today. The Georgiev card was kind of cool, but it's Georgiev, so it's...
kind of lame.
As tongue-in-cheek mentioned, not the Rangers goal you want.
No, not at all. I thought I had more of these MVP ones, but I don't, so I'm not going to open them. So I'm saving them. I like to open like a pack a day if I get bored, so I've got a big stack here. I got one cool card yesterday I'll show off. This is fun. Look at this one. They have mascot cards now. I got Louis.
Have you seen the gritty cards? Because the gritty cards go for a decent amount.
Yeah. Oh, because as soon as I saw that, I was like, what are gritty's worth? And like at least $80 just for like a simple base one. And I was like, maybe one day. One day I'll get you gritty.
Damn. Like, that guy transformed mascots. He transformed he integrated mascots into social media, and he's made this a more entertaining platform.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. I would love to have that card too. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
I know I've got 2 more sitting there. I was looking at the store and they were like the cheapest ones, and I was like, there might be a gritty in there. That'd be worth it by itself. So,
Well, Godspeed, young man.
there you go. Cool. Yo. So that's it. All. Grant, what's the last thing we have to do today?
Well, we wouldn't be the Canada Puck podcast without our babe of the week. I have a feeling I used this one before, but I keep going back to her, so I'm not ashamed of it. And China.doll. If you already follow her, then I know I used her already. Considers herself a bit of a fashion model and your new guilty pleasure. Well, guess what, China Doll? You're, I think, my old guilty pleasure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see that. It already popped up. It's not bad.
Does a little bit of everything. Not afraid to bear it all. And that's the type of heart and hustle we love on the Canada Puck podcast. China.doll, you are our babe of the week.
Schwing. Nice. That was a good show. Good pod.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Do it again sometime. Next time we do it, it will be the NHL playoffs. And that's exciting because I feel like the NHL playoffs rival just about every other playoffs. In fact, the intensity just amplifies so much more and makes it so much more entertaining. Can't wait.
Yeah, no, it should be good. Long, like I said, goals. We need to see a Battle of Alberta round 2. So we'll talk about that. I guess my predictions of who wins those 2 series is kind of on. I think the Leafs at least have to win a series this year, right? They have to.
Well, we talked about this last year by rule of 6s. I feel like things should be set after 6. I think this is last year.
Grant, you told me they weren't going to win. They were going to lose to Montreal, but they'll win next year. You already promised this, so.
Well, I got to deliver now.
Yep, that's it. So cool, nice. We'll look ahead. Bit of a drag this last couple weeks, but I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about something new, exciting, and fresh because I'm kind of over this whole regular season. It's too long.
I can't wait to win this $1,000, then donate it all back in the playoffs.
Cool. All right. So, what do we learn today? China Doll's nice. Don't shave it for McDavid.
Oh, gold. Internet gold.
That's
all right,
it.
Mick.
That's it.
Party on, Mick.
Party on, Grant.
See everybody next week.
Bye.